Grohl announcing that, they're not going to call it quits kind of vaguely at the end of last year. And then this week, Foo Fighters being announced on a bunch of festival bills that are kind of dropping like left and right. So that's interesting and something we wanted to chat about.
Yeah, what's the future hold for those guys? I feel like we all knew they were going to continue on. Like that's where my head was at. I was like, there's no way the Hawkins stuff it ends with that. Although obviously it's tragic. I think that goes without saying. We're not going to gloss over that. But for being in the game as long as they have, not only as the Foo Fighters, but in bands before that, my bets were on, they're going to continue. Touring, music, all that.
Yeah, it made too much sense for them to be sticking around. Today, this is the day that they announced. So this is Tuesday, January 10th that we're recording it. They announced they're playing Bonnaroo, they're playing Boston Calling, and what is the third one? Sonic Temple. So they're playing all of these. They're around the same time in May, right? So interesting that they're jumping right back in and playing 3 or 4 days apart all these huge festivals. So they're going to be jumping all over the place to do this. One's in Ohio, Bonnaroo is obviously in Tennessee, and then Boston Calling is hosting 3 days too around the same time. So it's kind of wild, right? Like they're going to be back, out there at huge shows. I wonder if there are any warm-ups. There's got to be, right?
They usually do like a warm-up show in the Southern California region when the pandemic lifted to an extent where shows were at least something you could pull off. They played like the Canyon it's out in the valley for sure in Los Angeles. I've never been to that venue, but it's definitely a smaller one. And then from there, they played, their giant shows until the tragic news in South America. But yeah, for the most part, I've always seen those little tiny shows. I haven't made all of them, but I was trying. So I'll hope for some club shows on this run.
So were you not at that garage show? Didn't they play a garage show a few years back?
No, in spirit.
I think we posted it on our Twitter.
We did, yeah.
Way back.
Mm-hmm. Early pod days, 2020.
Well, I think the pre-show makes a whole lot of sense. I think they would have done it with the old lineup and whoever they're going to bring in on drums. I think it would make sense to have, it's like you say, Nate, the comic warms up at the local club before they go on tour, you know, except in this situation, they will allow cell phones.
Right. Yeah. You won't be put in one of those bags where it's locked away and you can't take video of somebody saying something they shouldn't, and all that fun stuff. I'm excited that this is happening. Obviously, I had tickets to the Foos last summer, July in 2022, and it didn't happen because of the news of Taylor's passing. And we're huge Foos heads here. I mean, we did a whole episode on the catalog way back when, and we were hoping that they would continue on in some form or fashion, whether it be playing shows, finding someone to fill in on drums, and touring of the legacy stuff, or maybe they make new music, and we might see new music from them. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think, what's Dave, around close to, he'll be pushing 60, right?
Wow, is he? Man. I don't know what my guess would have been, maybe 55, but either way, I think we get new music from them. And I think they certainly have a lot of content to pull from the last year. But knowing those guys, I don't think it ends here.
Dave is 53.
Wow.
So still young enough.
He's got some runway.
Yeah, a lot of runway. Yeah, I feel like they were likely writing in between album cycles anyway. And then with the tragic passing of Taylor, I'm sure they have some writing sessions, just maybe even independently, to reflect on what happened. So could go in many directions on the next album.
So they had to have had some stuff workshopped or even closer to done, I would think, because what is it? Medicine at Midnight came out right at was it 2021? That came out February. They shelved it for a year. It was ready to go out in the summer or the spring of 2020, and they hung on to it. So they've had music done 3 years ago that was ready for release, or 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago now. Yeah. So my guess is they were already pretty close to some stuff being formulated and ideas and all that. I bet they're further along with new music than we know.
Yeah. We talked about anticipation and predictions this past week. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we'll get new stuff from them this year or what?
Me personally, no. I bet they'll do the shows, see how things go, and just kind of figure it out from there. Maybe the Q4 if we're lucky, but it's going to be tough because you're integrating a new member into the band and replacing somebody who was legendary in that role. So it's going to be really hard to be like, hey, jump in, and then these are the things that Taylor was going to play, and good luck. There's only a handful of people I think that could do that. Josh Freese, maybe. There aren't a lot, right?
Yeah, conversely though, they may scrap what they had, similar
That's
to
what I was. That's where I like the whole Deftones Zeros thing.
Exactly. Yeah, like it just, hey, let's move on. This is too sensitive. / it's just not right. And with a new member, speaking of someone like Josh Freese, like that's a completely different sound in every possible way. So it'll change the dynamic of the band if that were to happen. And whoever would have come. And another band member that came to mind was Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine, because they're tight. Dave and Brad Wilk are friends, and obviously Rage is on another hiatus. So who knows who's going to fill those shoes? It's going to be a big one. I mean, Taylor was a huge part of the live show.
Do you guys know how close William Goldsmith is with them? The original Foos drummer, and then he played in Sunny Day with Nate.
I know that Dave scrapped all of his stuff for Color and the Shape and did it himself. So my guess is that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Plus, it's documented pretty well in the documentary, right?
Yeah, I learned that from the Back and Forth documentary. Yep.
Which we've watched, and it's one of the few music documentaries where they actually allow that to happen. A lot of music documentaries, they try to keep it too clean, like, oh yeah, member left, it is what it is. It's like, no, well, what happened though?
Right.
Yeah, that piece of it was an interesting piece that was left, but it's also awesome that it was, because it gives you, us nerdery, people, fans of the band, an idea of what happened. And it's not just, oh yeah, creative differences, peace out, and then they brought Taylor in.
I think we need more of that. An honest, and honestly, yeah. I think we get it in this podcast. Other podcasts get that out of people, but we need more of that, where it's not the Zane Lowe cookie cutter stuff. It's the behind the music. Hey, that's what we do. And I'm glad he was able to. I mean, Dave, yeah, he's a straight shooter. He'll tell it like it is.
And at the end of the day, this is the entertainment industry. Obviously, if they're bad, there's bad blood and there's some stuff that needs to be kept in house. I get that too. We're not putting all of our arguments out into the world either, but there are times that it would be cool to hear the real story about stuff.
Yeah, for Freeze would be my first round draft pick, I think, just with the history there, and he's played with everyone. Didn't he play the Hawkins tribute show? He was there.
That's true. In fact, that show was maybe like the first clue that the band was going to continue on, because it was like a revolving door of pretty legendary drummers that may or may not have been, auditioning for the role.
Yeah. My one of the doctors I work with at my day job went and sent me pictures from it, and I was like, bro, you went? He's like, yep, I did. I mean, he's a very well established neurologist, so he's got the coin to do that. But man, I was like, I can't. He's just sending me photos from it. I'm like, this is amazing. You're there. I mean, obviously the circumstances are terrible, but he was able to see those amazing shows, which were full of energy and full of emotion. And I mean, you guys saw the video of, was it Taylor's son playing drums during My Hero? Fucking, I almost lost it. So
special moment. And I don't know, I think there's been some buzz about maybe him doing it, but I think he's probably too young, right, to do it full time.
Yeah, he may be too young. I mean, they've done it. I'm trying to think, what's the other band? Van Halen's pulled things like that off, like cousins or family members, related or whatnot. Wolfgang being the one I'm thinking of. But other than that, I can't think of any other bands that have pulled that off. But yeah, Taylor's son, I think he's like 12 or something, right? So
he's a little older, like 16,
I think. Yeah. Still too young. Still got to finish high school,
Well, that hasn't stopped a lot of musicians.
That's true. I mean, hey, you want to come play drums for one of the biggest rock bands in the world? That's a different story altogether.
And that's the thing. They're going to be able to pick anyone,
Yeah.
Literally anyone's on the table, but I think they'll keep it someone close to home. It'll be someone they have a history with, an old friend from an old band or whatever, maybe.
Ooh, Butch Vig, maybe?
I don't know, maybe.
That could happen.
He plays drums for Garbage, right?
True. Different style of drumming, though. It's like the role, matter. Taylor's role is so energetic that
I don't think they're just a different band. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not gonna fill Taylor Hawkins' shoes, is my point. So you find something that fits, that can do, some of the stuff you want to do, or different things to make the band evolve a little bit. I mean, that's what's going to have to happen.
Danny Carey.
Oh man, that'd be wild. He's doing a 5-day thing with Seth Meyers. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh wow. Yeah. Drummers galore, baby. We love the drummer here. So give the drummer some love.
Give the drummer some love.
All right, we're back Monday with a new episode coming at you. Check us out then, but thank you for checking out our In Real Time And what do you think? What do you think's going to happen with the Foos? Hit us up.
Time will tell. See ya.
See ya at the shows, maybe? Who knows?
Maybe.
Cheers.
Peace, potheads.
Peace.
Boston calling.
Thank you for listening to Patio Slave. We are at Patio Slave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Patio Slave Podcast. YouTube, Patio Slave Podcast there. Email us at patioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.